Hey, what's up, everybody? Just putting out a little video right now just because I feel inspired, which is partly the topic of what I want to say today. So I was on my way over here thinking about this. Is that the only thing that we lack is inspiration? Now, inspiration to you may be different for inspiration for me, but all that matters is that it's personal. It's something that gets you deep inside, that drives you to be better, drives you to have extra energy, drives you to have more discipline, drives you to live a better lifestyle, drives you to go after that goal, drives you to succeed. Things that get you going. Jim Rohn would say, like, get excited about your ability to make yourself do the necessary, and that's discipline. And unless it's something that you really truly care about, whatever it may be, of course, you're not going to have the energy, the focus, the effort to do it. So go after the things that you really care about. Don't let an opinion from anybody else stop you. As long as you're not hurting someone else, I'm all for it. Was going to say that I also wanted to put, I might chop this up just so that way I can put a couple different videos on Instagram. Obviously, they only let you do a minute long videos. But what I was going to say is that, so I took a philosophy class, and I've actually taken philosophy. Well, I took religion and spirituality classes since high school. I went to all guys Catholic school, and in my Christian leadership class in my senior year, we were studying Buddhism, and I don't know that I exactly remember everything from that, but I do know that from retreats and everything, we did do reflections. We did do, things that helped with self awareness, things that pretty much were mindful meditation. So I'm not a Buddhist. I don't believe at all. But I do think that I do want to share a couple things that I took from taking this class again, which was some Buddhist principles, and those are these. So there is suffering in life, and like there is a path and a framework, these things that we can do that can lead to less suffering, possibly no suffering at all. If you think about it, there are things today that don't hurt you as bad as they did before. And why is that? It's because the meaning that you've given it has changed. So suffering to Buddhists comes from attachment. So even expectations are attachments. So maybe you expected a certain thing, a certain event to turn out differently than you hoped. You will feel suffering from that just because of the expectation. Now, there's a difference between that and having faith that it'll work out, and then still interpreting it and learning from it and being like, okay, there's still a lot I can get from this situation as far as wisdom going forward, versus just sulking and you know um, letting it kind of implode your faith. Don't do that. It's not going to be helpful. That's why I say don't do that. What else was I going to say? There's also the idea of the two truths. So the truths doctrine is about this. It's about our world, who we are. Jonathan, oh, John, John is changing. He's evolving. I should use that word all the time. Gotta represent. But Jonathan, in a physical sense, has been this person that's been 6 feet tall since high school, and he's grown a beard, and he's got the same family. There's certain, there's actually I should redo that again. So the two truths doctrine. So the two truths doctrine is a very important Buddhist principle, and I think we all are aware of it. But I think to have a solidified thing to go back to and think about is this. And so there's two truths. There's an absolute truth and there's a relative truth. And that exists for a lot of things, like in physics, in daily life, in our identity, in lots of things. You know, Jonathan has been a changing identity. Actually, well, I believe that I've been unbecoming a lot of things I wasn't, and that's where I have become more secure with myself, more confident with myself, because I have shed insecurities. I have shed my doubt. I have shed my need for approval, my need for validation, which a lot of us, you know, have to learn in order to be the most confident person that we can be. Um, so absolute and relative truth. So an absolute truth is I have my little family in LA, born and raised. That will be an absolute truth. Who I become is a qualitative principle, a qualitative phenomenon that can change over time. You know, who I am personality wise is something that's relative. You know, so you meet me, you know, I can be the most cool person in the world, you know, and then someone else may not like me, and that might be relative. That is a relative thing, you know. I don't know that I'm using the best examples, but I don't know if I'm even making sense. But yeah, there's a difference between absolute truth and relative truth. I'm gonna cut this, and I'm gonna have to cut this, but I'm learning. And that's okay. Um, was gonna say that, yeah. So like an absolute truth would be like where you're from, what family you were born to. But you know, even that, what that's an absolute truth. But what would be a relative truth is the what do you call home? That can change. Who do you really think of as your family? Maybe you didn't grow up in a family that you're close to, a broken home or something, and then you're adopted, or you meet a mentor or someone else that someone you know, a friend that becomes a brother or sister to you. Those are relative things, and that does not take away from the fact that they are true to you. So what does this mean? Why do I even bring this up? Well, I think there's a lot of incredible power in that. That that's our alchemy, is that we're able to interpret things as we want. Okay, and there's a lot of power in that. Now, we are conditioned in a way that, you know, people we 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 are wrongly thought to like go after what groupthink is, what everybody thinks, and to go based off the absolute truth to other people or their relative truth. And we cannot. The only way to live in truth for ourselves is to be congruent with what we actually feel, what we actually believe, and to embrace it. I'm really hoping that I'm making sense. um, but yeah, I think there's a lot of power in your identity. The only thing we lack is inspiration. Everything else is set in stone. We are all given the same 24 hours. We can do the same, you know, there's same opportunities, even though they're maybe not. Now I'm fucking up. All right, I'm gonna cut it.